Welcome to Sumac Watches. This video isn't one of the usual how-to videos. It's more of a case study of a watch that's been on the bench recently. It's a 1990 Seiko 7A28-7120 Gen 1 Ministry of Defence issue aircrew quartz chronograph. The watch came in a job lot of damaged Seiko Gen 1s and Gen 2s. Two of the Gen 1s have suffered fire damage. I thought that these were both going to be used purely as donors for spare parts, but it was suggested by @magwatchtime on Instagram that the watch on the left could potentially be restored to working order, retaining the general distressed cosmetic damage as a fitting and appropriate way to bring the watch back into usable condition. I thought that seemed like a good idea. The crystal was missing, but I took the dial and movement out of the case, and you can see it's fairly heavily fire damaged. And there was also some battery acid leakage, which caused some corrosion and staining and left residues inside the movement. The hands were also damaged. Amazingly, the movement did show some signs of life, so it was fully stripped and put through 2 cycles in the cleaning machine. After cleaning, it was evident that along with the green spacer plate, a few other parts would need to be replaced. However, it mostly came up quite well. You can see here that the main plate is in pretty good condition. There's a bit of pitting and staining to the metal which wouldn't come away with cleaning, but the part itself is free of surface residues and a good starting point to build up the movement. The process starts by building up the first couple of wheels, the stators for the gear train step motors and the black plastic spacer plate, and then onto the keyless works, which locks the stem and allows it to click in and out to the 3 different positions. The main gear train goes in next for the hours, minutes and running seconds. Then we build up the other parts of the chronograph mechanism. So here we have the 10th second step motor and wheels, and in this light you can see some spotting and staining on the bridge plates, which shows up more clearly in the photographs than in the flesh. It would only come away with refinishing the plates, which I didn't want to do. So we build up the rest of the chronograph mechanism, and here at the bottom in this shot we have the chronograph minute, step motor, wheels and bridge, and then the green plastic spacer plate goes on. As the original was damaged from heat, this one is from the spare parts box. All 4 coils were in working condition and went back in, and then the celluloid circuit board, which had been cleaned up, goes in. On top of that, the metal plate, the negative and positive battery contacts and the little trimmer adjuster. Turning the watch over, the dial goes back on. All the loose particles and dust have been carefully lifted off with Rodico. A little spot of metal was shining through where the paint had lifted off, and that's been touched in. And that's the watch all back together in one piece and running on the quartz tester machine, and running well within the plus-minus 10 seconds per month specification. You can see it here in its finished state. It has a new crystal, new OEM crystal gasket, new pusher gaskets and back gasket and stem gasket. The original chronograph seconds hand has been straightened. The original minutes and hours hands have also been straightened, but otherwise left as they were. The minute register subhand was broken, and that's been replaced with one from the other fire damaged watch. And you can see the case retains the kind of scorched finish that we started off with. The back is in amazing condition, and you can see it's also a very late issue, one of the last 300 that were produced out of a total of 11,307. The case back didn't have a lot of staining or damage, and I inadvertently put it through the ultrasonic cleaning machine out of habit, but it's substantially as it was. Finally, here's some video showing the operation of the watch in its finished state. I did get a bit of a grease spot on the crystal, which shows up in the video, so apologies for that. So operating the stopwatch now with the seconds and 10th of seconds registers running, stopping and then returning to 0, and then in test mode you can see all 3 registers spin round 1 cycle. And there you have the resuscitated, fire damaged Seiko Gen 1. Thanks for watching. Follow @Sumac Watches on Instagram for more mostly military vintage watches.